In the heart of the 17th century, a time when the world was shrouded in superstition and mystery, one man dared to ask a question that would change everything. What if the universe wasn't random? What if it followed rules, laws that could be understood, predicted, and even harnessed? This wasn't just a fleeting thought. It was the obsession of a solitary, brilliant mind, a man who would pull back the curtain on creation itself. This is the story of Isaac Newton, but it's not the one you learned in school. This is the story of the man who battled inner demons, rival geniuses, and the very fabric of reality to uncover the secrets of the cosmos. And what he found was more beautiful, more terrifying, and more profound than anyone could have ever imagined. Born prematurely in a tiny English village, Newton's early life was marked by tragedy and isolation. His father died before he was born, and his mother abandoned him to be raised by his grandmother. He was a small, quiet boy, often lost in thought, building intricate mechanical toys while other children played. He constructed sundials, water clocks, and even a miniature windmill powered by a mouse on a treadmill. These weren't just games. They were early experiments, the first stirrings of a mind desperate to understand how things worked. While his family saw him as a failed farmer, a strange boy with his head in the clouds, young Isaac was already mapping the heavens, his mind racing far beyond the confines of his small world. He was an outcast, an observer, and it was from this lonely vantage point that he began to see the world differently than anyone else. When a plague swept across England, Cambridge University shut its doors, forcing Newton to return to his family farm. For most, this was a catastrophe. For Newton, it was a miracle. Alone, for 2 solid years, with nothing but his books, his thoughts, and the vast, silent countryside, he entered a period of creative frenzy, unlike any in human history. It was during this time that the famous apple supposedly fell. But the story isn't about an apple hitting him on the head. It's about a question. He saw the apple fall, and then he looked up at the moon, hanging pale in the sky. Why does the apple fall down, but the moon doesn't? What invisible force holds it up there? In that single question, the seed of universal gravitation was planted. He realized the same force pulling the apple to the earth might be the very same force keeping the moon in its orbit. A celestial dance choreographed by an unseen hand. But Newton's genius wasn't just in gravity. During this period of isolation, he also plunged into the study of light. At the time, everyone believed that white light was pure and fundamental. Newton thought otherwise. He took a prism, a simple piece of glass, and in a darkened room, he allowed a single beam of sunlight to pass through it. What emerged on the far wall was not white light, but a stunning band of colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, a rainbow, captured in his room. Most would have stopped there, marveling at the beauty. But Newton was a scientist. He took a second prism and used it to recombine the colored lights. And what came out? Pure, white light. He had proven it. White light wasn't pure at all. It was a mixture of all the colors of the spectrum. He had literally dissected a sunbeam, revealing its hidden anatomy. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. Newton was pathologically secretive. He was terrified of criticism, terrified of his ideas being stolen. For nearly 20 years, he kept his monumental discoveries locked away in his notebooks, hidden from the world. He was a ghost, haunting the halls of Cambridge, known only as a quiet, eccentric professor. While he hoarded his secrets, other great minds were grappling with the same questions. In London, a bitter rivalry was brewing. The brilliant but arrogant Robert Hooke claimed he had ideas about gravity, and the dashing astronomer Edmund Halley, of Halley's comet fame, was desperately trying to solve the puzzle of planetary orbits. They were all circling the truth, but they were missing the key. They were missing the mathematics. They were missing Newton. It was Halley who finally broke through Newton's shell. He traveled to Cambridge and asked Newton a simple question. What path would a planet take if the force of gravity decreased with the square of the distance? Newton answered instantly, an ellipse. A stunned Halley asked how he knew. Newton replied calmly, I have calculated it. He had solved the problem years ago, but had misplaced the calculations. At Halley's urging, Newton agreed to recreate the work and send it to him. What he sent back months later wasn't just a simple calculation. It was the beginning of a masterpiece, a book that would become the single most important scientific text ever written. the philosophy naturalized Principia mathematica, or simply, the Principia. For 18 months, Newton worked like a man possessed, barely eating or sleeping, writing furiously to lay down the laws that governed the universe. The Principia was a thunderclap. It laid out his 3 laws of motion and the law of universal gravitation in pristine, irrefutable mathematical language. It explained everything from the fall of an apple to the orbits of the planets and the rhythm of the tides. He had created a new branch of mathematics, calculus, just to describe it all. The universe was no longer a mysterious, divine play. It was a grand machine, a clockwork of immense scale, and Newton had just handed humanity the instruction manual. He had become the architect of the modern world, the man who discovered the laws of the universe. But his story doesn't end there. There was another side to Newton, a secret obsession that consumed him even more than physics. After publishing the Principia, Newton's life took a bizarre and unexpected turn. He abandoned science and moved to London to become Warden of the Royal Mint. He pursued counterfeiters with a ruthless, obsessive zeal, even going undercover in seedy taverns to gather evidence. He sent several men to the gallows. It was a strange chapter for the man who had communed with the cosmos. But the greatest secret he kept was hidden in a locked chest. After his death, this chest was opened, and what was found inside shocked everyone. It contained over 1 million words, not on physics or mathematics, but on a forbidden, secret passion, alchemy. Newton, the father of modern science, the ultimate rationalist, was also a mystic. He spent decades of his life trying to find the philosopher's stone, a mythical substance that could turn lead into gold and grant eternal life. He believed the universe held ancient divine secrets, and that alchemy, not physics, was the key to unlocking them. He saw his scientific work and his alchemical pursuits as 2 sides of the same coin, both part of a quest to understand God's creation. The man who defined the clockwork universe also spent his nights trying to decode biblical prophecies and practice an ancient magical art. The ultimate rationalist was also the last of the magicians. This is the paradox of Isaac Newton, a man who stood with one foot in the new world of science and the other firmly planted in the old world of magic and mystery. Thank you so much for watching. If you were as fascinated by the hidden life of Isaac Newton as we were, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to Impact Figures for more stories about the minds that shaped our world. We'll see you in the next one.